What's up, y'all? It's your boy KC on the track. Today I'm gonna talk to you about mixing lead rap vocals. I'm gonna touch on compression, filtering, de-essing, additive EQ, and finalizing compressor for that vocal. All right, let's jump right into it. I'm gonna play the record I have.
Hey, trying to get a piece of the pie. Before I die, try to reach for the sky, then eat my hefty ass piece of the pie. Cause
I'm gonna mute the track.
Trying to get a piece of the pie. Before I die, try to reach for the sky, then eat my
All right, sounds recorded pretty well. I'm gonna add some compression here. 4-to-1 ratio to 5-to-1 ratio. So for every 4 dBs above the threshold, the input it'll output 1 dB over the threshold. So in other words, if the threshold's -10 at a 4-to-1 ratio, then if the signal's coming in at -6, it'll output at -1. The attack and release, the attack is how fast it's gonna start compressing once it's past the threshold. Release is how fast it'll stop the compression once it's gone back under the threshold. So I like to use like a 3 to 6 dB gain reduction, but really go by ear. So let's hear it with the compression.
Hey, trying to get a piece of the pie. Before I die, try to reach for the sky, then eat my hefty ass piece of the pie. Cause in the blink of an eye, you die. Gone soul, get away. Nose to the ground, bloodhound while you niggas play. It ain't
See how it brings it more nominal, gets rid of the hard plosives and hard transients. It kind of smooths them out. The next, I like to add some subtractive EQ. Some people call it filtering. It's the same shit. So yeah, I like to start around this 350 to 500 hertz range and get rid of that boxy, ugly, roomy sound that you find especially when you're doing home recording. I do a sharp Q and I crank the gain all the way up and I just sweep to find it.
trying to get a piece of the pie. Before I die, try to reach for the sky, then eat my hefty.
It sounds like it's right there. Let's just get rid of it.
Trying to get a piece of the pie. Hey, trying to get a piece of the pie. Before I die, try to reach for the sky, then eat my hefty.
There you go. Then I add, to get rid of anything that might be touching in the subs, I add a high pass filter at about 100 hertz.
Hey, trying to get a piece of the pie. Before I die, try to reach for the sky, then eat my hefty ass.
All right, next I de-ess it because we got rid of those muddy low mids. So next I want to get control of the high end, the SE stuff. So when I do additive EQ, it doesn't, it's not too harsh to the ears. And so somewhere between 6K and 8K, you'll find most of the sibilants. And the de-esser is basically a compressor that is specific to a frequency band. Now, on this particular plugin, this is the Waves de-esser. It's got a high pass and a band pass option. Now, I'm using the high pass option because I just want to compress the S's, and then it can be wide band or split. So I split it so it doesn't affect any of the other frequencies except for that high end. And then I'm really gonna squeeze the shit out of it. Don't be afraid of getting like all the way down to like 6 to 12 dB gain reduction, because when you add the additive EQ, it's really going to bring the high ends out, allow you to bring them out, and add color without overbearing the mix. All right, so here, check this out.
Hey, trying to get a piece of the pie. Before I die, try to reach for the sky, then eat my hefty ass piece of the pie. Cause in the blink of an eye, you die.
All right, there you go. And then I go to additive EQ. On this particular record, actually on a lot of records, I like to use SSL G series. I love the EQ. It sounds so good. It's so reminiscent of the day when you didn't have all these fancy plugins, and we did a lot of EQing and compression and gating on the consoles. And so, no further ado. So I like to double down on the filtering I did in the first stage. So we're gonna go ahead and take a little bit of that 400 out.
Hey, trying to get a piece of the pie. Before I die, try to reach for the sky and eat my hefty ass piece of the pie. Cause in the blink of an eye, you die, gone soul.
Then I'm gonna go up here to the high mid frequencies. Somewhere around 3 to 5K is where you're gonna find the interesting parts of the sibilance in the high end that really makes them sound present. Use a wide bandwidth for that. All right, so let's sweep around and see if we can find it.
Hey, trying to get a piece of the pie. Before I die, try to reach for the sky and eat my hefty ass piece of the pie. Cause in the blink of an eye, you die, gone soul, get away, nose to the ground, bloodhound while you niggas play. It ain't necessary like to see my son near some J's, trying to make a change, elevate up to the fire.
For his voice, I like it about right there. And then I add a little bit of 12K, it gives it presence.
Hey, trying to get a piece of the pie. Before I die, try to reach for the sky and eat my hefty ass piece of the pie.
All right, that sounds like it's got too much high end. Let's add some low end, around 280 to 320, somewhere around there.
Hey, trying to get a piece of the pie. Before I die, try to reach for the sky and eat my hefty ass piece of the pie. Cause in the blink of an eye, you die, gone.
All right, let's bypass it.
Hey, trying to get a piece of the pie. Before I die, try to reach for this.
This is with it.
Hey, trying to get a piece of.
Now add a finishing compressor. Some people use limiters. I usually only use those on bus tracks, like if I bust a couple different vocals that are all working for the lead vocal and I bust them to an aux track, then I'll use a limiter. But when I'm doing it just like this on this one track, I'm more likely to use a compressor. Just kind of smooths everything out and glues everything that we just did together. And I'll use like a 2 or 3 to 1 ratio somewhere in there. And like before, just, find a gain reduction that sounds good. Usually for me, I don't go much past 3 dB gain reduction in this stage, but yeah, let's just hear it.
Hey, trying to get a piece of the pie. Before I die, try to reach for the sky and eat my hefty ass piece of the pie. Cause in the blink of an eye, you die, gone soul, get away, nose to the ground, blood.
So I kind of glued it together. All right, let's hear it with the track.
Hey, trying to get a piece of the pie. Before I die, try to reach for the sky and eat my hefty ass piece of the pie. Cause in the blink of an eye, you die, gone soul, get away.
This is dry.
Hey, trying to get a piece of the pie. Before I die, try to reach for this.
And this is with everything we just did.
Hey, trying to get a piece of the pie. Before I die, try to reach for the sky and eat my hefty ass piece of the pie. Cause in the blink of an eye, you die, gone soul, get away, nose to the ground, bloodhound while you niggas play. It ain't necessary like to see my son near some J's.
Well, that's part 1 of my rap vocals mixing tutorial. Part 2 will be coming in about a week, maybe 2 weeks at the most, since it's the holidays. On that one, I'll be touching on parallel effects, like distortion, chorus, flangers, stuff like that. And then the third part of this series will be about reverb, delays, anything time-based, and how to use those to create space and create cool effects.